Alrighty, I won't make the mistake that I have the other times that I've done this and just start talking immediately so there isn't a weird period of silence at the beginning. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sunless Sea stream. I'm not sure who's here yet, so I'll give people a little time to file in. But it's great to see, it's great to be streaming again. I had a pressing engagement last Sunday, which is the day I normally do these, of course. But there is no engagement this week. So yay. So, who all's here? Got 3 viewers. Nice. Alrighty. See, I've got our kitty save somewhere here. There it is. Hopefully I've got everything running and you guys can hear the music and my voice just fine. I suppose if you can't hear my voice, it would be hard to figure out, but I'm sure people would tell me. Righto. I'll wait for another 2 minutes for people to shuffle in, I guess. 2:05 will be the time that it begins. And wow, I really need to make sure my voice doesn't dip into the whole crackly register anymore. That's actually, I found out, very bad for my throat. Alrighty. Alrighty, it's 2:05, so I think it's time to get started. People can shuffle in as they please. So last time we played, we had just gotten back from a long trip in order to get ourselves a submarine. And we hadn't been able to use it as much as I would have liked because, as you can see, we are down to 2 fuel barrels, one of which is currently in the engines, and 1 crate of supplies, plus 50 terror. So, as we usually do when we're in London, let's get to work fixing that. So, we can... Yes, here we go. This is what it was. As you do stuff to the Scholar, they will occasionally give you stuff coming back, usually supplies. It smells pickled, chemical, zalty. Once it might have been eel flesh, but the Scholar assures you that it has vital and nutritional virtues. Save it for an emergency, perhaps. We don't have anything else to do with the alarming Scholar, so let's move on to the Admiralty office and submit port reports. So, for last time, we have all these places we went to. It can be a good idea to use some of your port reports on a thing in somewhere else than London, especially for the underwater places. But I will not be doing that because for the time being, it's not exactly profitable. Although, I'll keep the Rosegate port report for the time being. Trade it in for something. As for the others, we have Godfall, pirate monks. I honestly have no idea what we're supposed to do about pirate monks. What are they up to? We have one from the Cumian Canal, which is like directly south of London, and everyone goes there, so we only get a nominal fee of 5 echoes and no fuel. Now, if you remember last time, the Khan's Heart port report was extremely valuable. We went through a lot to get it. We had to do a difficult fails check. So this one's actually 75 echoes, which is very nice. And of course we always get fuel for these ones. Iron Republic again. Last time it was blank, but apparently this time it has spontaneously combusted. No, I didn't expect that to happen. Well, perhaps it's for the best. Some reports should not be reported. Oh, no, don't concern yourself. This was my third best suit, and the Admiralty offers a modest allowance for document-related damage. Perhaps it's best if you leave now, though. Good day. So we got 5 terror from that, and a fuel. And we get kicked out, which doesn't actually do anything, because we can just go right back in. Isle of Cats. Yes, well, we did rather know about his rose gardens. Not good news that they're prospering, though. Really should have nipped it in the, if you'll allow me, bud. Ha. And trading with the Conet? With the Iron Republic? Bother, I may have to have a meeting about this. The island that looks up. I don't suppose you found out what it's staring at. Port Cornelian. You know, I sometimes wonder whether that place was a good idea. I didn't say that. By the way, is anyone able to type things out in the chat? I haven't seen anyone talking, and it'd be nice to know if you guys are actually able to. Looks, there's nothing that in the options that says you wouldn't be able to, but whatever. Fathom King's Hold. The Grand, yes, of course, we're generally quite well informed on that topic, but since you're here, perhaps you may as well let us know what your own impressions were. The Admiralty official takes notes scrupulously, but with an expression of mild terror, like a novice vivisector wincing with a scalpel. The rest of the office studiously busy themselves with other tasks. All right, thanks, business. That puts my mind at ease very well. Khan's Shadow. Oh, these are always fun. Come on, let's hear it. So that 5 terror we got from the Iron Republic, we just lost that from the Khan's Shadow. Other officials gather around to hear your tales of bloodshed and debauchery, and the jokes about the Khan that the Shadow produces so efficiently and so entertainingly. The one about the Khan and the donkey produces a roar of patriotic laughter and encourages the deputy recorder to unlock the departmental drinks cabinet. If you remember, Khan's Shadow is this sort of anarchist colony of boats right outside the much more authoritarian Khan's Heart and Khan's Glory. We'll be skipping Rosegate. Demo Island for 20. And Nook. No clothes at all. Wild orgies. Fights to the death in the Altogether. The secretary glows crimson as he stares at your report. Tell me everything. Slowly. Well, someone has a new fetish. And going back up to the Admiral, we can give him strategic information. But I'm not going to, actually. Because it's better if you save that. Even though you can pass it immediately. This is a mistake I tended to make early on, where I would sell all of my strategic information right off the bat. Don't do that. Anyway, what we need to do instead is to go off to the Cumean Canal to get our strategic information. It's slightly out of the way, but we can do that fast. And that's that for the Admiralty office for now. Okay, first things first. Well, first things first, let's, what engineer do we have? We have the Magician. Veils, iron, and engine power. It's always good to have more officers, but we're not necessarily going to use them. This one's affordable, so I'll pick her up. At the end of a rotting dock, a woman perches on a suitcase. Both she and the suitcase are noticeably cleaner than everything else in view. Hello, where are you headed? On second thought, I don't mind. Can I come aboard? Yes, I'm an engineer, but I'm an engineer in a hurry. If anyone comes looking for me, well, I'm not accepting callers. Can I trust you to pass that on? You don't want them distracting me from my duties. This is Maybe's daughter. You might notice that she breaks the naming scheme of everyone so far. Hi, Frog! Yeah, Maybe's daughter. Everyone else is the adjective noun, the irrepressible cannoneer, the genial magician, the carnelian exile, the albino tinkerer, the alarming scholar, the merchant venturer. Just everyone is the adjective noun. Then you have Maybe's daughter. Who veils 6, iron 3, engine power plus 100. Is that better than what we have? Yeah, she gives the same amount of veils as the chief engineer. She raises iron instead of mirrors. So slower firing solutions, but more damage. And increases our engine power instead of decreasing our hearts. I believe we will switch to her for a while. Hey, Dreamo! Good to see you. I was worried you might not show up. Absolutely. We will. I will be very sure to give everyone here the authentic deep sea experience. Yeah, we still need a cook. We still are basically just eating our food out of the crate. So last time I mentioned that we wouldn't be doing the tattoo thing yet, because there's different ways to do it. So each tattoo will increase one of your stats permanently by 2. And they each take a different kind of sort of story item. They're not all technically stories, but they all kind of count as the same type of item, which is a good time to go over all of them. The main 3 ones you're going to be running into are Tales of Terror, which we have 8 of, Z Stories, which we also have 8 of, but don't particularly want to use yet. A Memory of Distant Shores, which we also have 8 of. Visions of the Surface, which we have none of. You get this by going around talking to people who have seen the sunlight, or by going to the surface yourself, which you can do. And then there's Moves in the Great Game. This is espionage type stuff, and this is the one we will be going with because it raises the most important stat, pages. Some of Clathermont's tattoos are coded messages for spies. Perhaps you have a hidden motive. So I mentioned pages is the skill that essentially makes you level up faster and get more secrets to spend on more skills. So it's sort of a in-betweener skill, but a very important one, and it does have its own checks for like knowledge and such. So let's get our tattoo. The gold needle pricks. Lily Clathermont hums. Is that butter on the chess knight's head? She shrugs. The ways of the great game are tangled. She doesn't seem to be mocking you. A pop-eyed pole across the parlor sees your new tattoo, hisses, and ducks his head in respect. So, we have a buttered chess piece on our shoulder now. That's certainly a thing. And our pages is now up at 30. Roser's Wharf has nothing we can use. We can get a terror reduction here. And unfortunately, we got unlucky and only reduced 3. We did get recent news, though. You wake in the back room of Gaston's lamprey, head pounding. You had something to drink, but beyond that, it's a little hazy. Your knuckles are bloody, your blood, you think, and your shirt bloody likewise. Probably not yours, unless your blood is slick and greenish. You've had better nights out. A difficult brew, Gaston says gnomically. Highest a stat can go, I think there isn't a limit, technically, but the soft cap, where it will stop mattering, is about 200. If there is a limit, it is 200, because you can get stats all the way up there. Yeah, the second I saw the name Gaston, I knew that you guys would do this. It's less diminishing returns, Dreamo, and just that at that point, the things that your stats affect will not go any higher, and 200 is enough to get a 100% chance on any roll in the game. So there's really no point in going past 200. Let's see, what were we doing? Oh, right, dry dock. That's important. Hard locked at less than 100? No, I don't believe so. Each roll uses your full stat, it's just a certain difficulty. There are a lot of rolls that, like, you know, are difficulty of, say, 50, so you'll need 50 of the stat to get the 100% chance. They're kind of locked by percentage, where you get different percent chances depending on what the full range of the roll is. There's a lot of that kind of coding bit where they just make a roll between 1 and 100 random number generation in the code here. Anyway, still early enough in the game that I'm probably going to spend my Admiralty favors on repairing the hull. All shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Very quickly. All shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well is actually interesting here, because that's sort of a recurring line in Fallen London and other parts of this game. It's one of those things that doesn't really have a meaning, but it's said a lot. So there's implications. Okay, so hull's repaired. We've got 12 fuel, 3 supplies, which is not great. And my lodgings. I should actually, since we have a study now, I'll show the, okay, yeah, the hard cap is 200. You see these? Create an anatomical cabinet, create a serene aquarium. These things are the only way to raise your stats past a certain level. I think most officers won't raise your stats above 100 by just talking to them, so you have to do these. So let's say you were to create the anatomical cabinet, you would need 7 lamentable relic items, 7 secrets, which are the level up items, 1 supplies. And what it would do is raise your iron stat by 7, as well as give you an item which, when equipped to your ship, will temporarily raise that stat by another 7. So it's 7 permanent and 7 transitory. And we actually have the ability to make one right now, but I want to save my live specimen for later. Unless it takes up space. Yeah, it takes up space in the hold. So maybe we'll do that at some point. Anyway, we have a goal today. And that goal is to actually get started on this story, which we need muter salt for. We finally have enough Z stories to go to Wither and grab some muter salt. Is there anything else? Shopping. Right. So, let's grab some supplies. Up to 10. I'll only grab 4 fuel for now because we're going to be sailing past Mount Palmerston and fuel is cheaper there, so I'll buy it there. I will also... Should I grab some coffee beans? I might need it later. I'll grab some coffee beans. 2 of them for a thing later, and fill up the rest of my hold with mushroom wine for Venderbite. And with that, I believe we are good. Although I might want a little bit more crew. Yeah, considering where we're planning on going today, it might be nice to have a slight crew buffer. Yep, 3 crew. Let's bring our terror down. And there we go. Now I believe we are ready. So let's go underwater, shall we? Oh, right, we have this guy on board. Ugh. Last time we picked up an impolite investigator in Khan's heart. And the first time that you go underwater after picking this guy up, he basically forces this event on you. The impolite investigator approaches you, smiling. Now we're safely submerged, I have a question, Captain. I've discovered that several crew members are attracted to you. Would you become intimate with any? If so, who? How would you engage? And why haven't you indulged yet? This guy's an asshole. He is the most rude person. So, we have three options here, and these options, for the record, affect absolutely nothing. Which two who? Are you actually asking me that, or is this part of the joke? Anyway, so I'm gonna leave this one up to you guys. Do we? Oh, hey, we have a fourth option that we can get if we're a cannibal, which is essentially threaten to eat him. Which two who? And which unfortunately we can't because we are not a cannibal. Yeah, it's locked. We could have picked up cannibalism somewhere on our journeys. I won't say where, but we got very close. However, it is we did not manage to get it. So, do we just refuse to reply? Just smile at him? And let him draw his own conclusions? Or threaten to keelhaul him? Okay, one vote for keelhaul, one vote for secret smile. 2 votes for secret smile, sorry, Frog. The investigator nods. That tells me everything I need. I know where to make follow-up enquiries. But before I go, I'd like some specifics. I already have some theories about your predilections. Would you confirm some of the details? Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you in the Toho thing. I haven't actually thought about this all that much, mostly because I consider them friends and not for sexual. Anyway, we are right above the Bad Steven Universe Abyss. Bad Stevener's Abyss. So this is what you do with abysses. You dive into them, obviously. I have read and enjoyed more Momichi dojins than with just about any other character. Although Oku is a close second. Your helmsman gives you a questioning look. You say nothing. You are unaccustomed to repeating yourself. With a trembling hand, she steers your vessel down. You sink into the abyss like a coffin into a grave. Stony walls rise about you. Your vessel's light picks out beds of undulating anemones. Okay, so this is the Abyss of Pyres. what's the canon perspective again? I keep forgetting what it is. Do they eat humans? Do they not? I've never been able to keep Toho canon straight. Anyway, so what you can do here is change up your stats, which is different at each abyss. This one will decrease our 58 veils by 10, but increase our mirrors by 20. We can undo this later. It's technically a permanent boost, but it can also be removed and just completely reversed. Either way, if we fail this, we will succeed either way, but if we fail the challenge, it'll damage our hull. We can also dive deeper, but you don't want to do that unless you absolutely know what you're doing. So, I actually think I'd like to keep my veils for now, but it's good to know what happens here. And there's something. That is a shipwreck. Oh, good point. I'm going to go back and do that. Anyway. The wreck waits below, a dark shape in dark water. What caused it to sink? And does anything salvageable remain? Search a Corsair wreck. The ship's bow is raised as though struggling to escape the depths. So this is not a fun challenge. This is 18% of success. Still, let's give it a shot. Yeah, we gained 5. We still gain stuff, but we get terror. The descent is precarious. Once lowered onto the upraised deck, you are forced to cling to a railing to resist being dragged into the deeps by a savage current. The wood of the deck is blistered and scorched by old gunfire. Below decks, the cabins show evidence of a slaughter. Old stains coat the walls. The blood must have dried before the ship sank. In the third cabin you reach, a white-eyed woman, her skin bloated, gnaws on a comrade's severed hand. Strings of gristle cling to her teeth. She looks up, uncomprehending. Your first officer cleaves her head from her shoulders. I believe the success is to get, both of those, not terror and better rewards. I don't know if that's actually a drownie. It doesn't seem like one. Drownies are generally not cannibalistic. Sometimes there's just things. Anyway, let's go back to that abyss and thank business for reminding us of our obligation to date the cute gunner. So let's retrieve a sample of these fires. And we succeeded, which means our hull does not get damaged. There are only 4 types of abyss. There's abysses all over the game, but there's only 4 types. The abyss of hearths, pyres, pomegranates, and graves. If you're going to go for Xeno's wife, then you have to visit them in the very specific order of hearths, pyres, pomegranates, graves. Or was it Abyss of Greetings and not Hearths? I don't remember. Out into the bright depths, the fires burn. Violet anemones, bloated to impossible size, cluster about the unexpected warmth. Their tendrils languorously weave. Cupping a handful of the pale fire in your hands, you carry it back to your submarine. It feels warm as a bowl of soup. You set it in a glass tank in the hold. Your sailors occasionally report seeing the fires playing across your hull. Oh no, it doesn't lock you out. You can you just getting it wrong resets it, so you can try it again. The only time you get locked out of the story is if you make a specific choice at the end. And see, we can immediately, we could get rid of the Right of Hearths. But yeah, now let's head out. And let's actually check with our officers. What does she need? She needs iron 20 points higher than Vale's. Well, let's get iron to 50 real quick. We've got 23 secrets. We can afford it. The gunner ran with the regiment, the urchin gang who keep a cannon in a high clock tower. But the urchin gangs reject adults, and now she plies her skills at sea. From the way she stumbles over the story, she still misses them. And that's 50. Theoretically, if we swapped out Maybe's daughter for nobody and got our Veils down another 6, that would make this a bit easier. We can also talk to the Cannoneer to increase our iron, but that's at a risk of damaging our hull because they get too enthusiastic about that particular thing. So I'd prefer to do it while we're safe in port. There's something over there. I'm going to go investigate it. You can all hear the game fine, right? Ah, shit. That's an enemy. That's a wreck ship. All right, good to hear. Yep, that is essentially a shipwreck mimic. I was able to recognize it instantly for what it was because I've played enough, but that doesn't actually stop it from, attacking you. Just I didn't try to go onto it. Oh, good, Xeno's here. The gang's all here. Awesome. Xeno, all you missed is a bit of... We got a tattoo back in London. We explored a shipwreck. We found a mimic ship that was pretending to be a shipwreck. And we dove down into one of the abysses to swap out some of our stats. It unfortunately was not the abyss that we needed to... Oh yeah, and the nosy investigator asked about asked about which Toho we would fug. So yeah, this is Low Barnet. We've saw it from up above, but now that we actually have a submarine, it's a real place. And if you remember that... Listen, we're not going to have Toho discourse in the chat, guys. While we all calm down, remember that everyone has different favorite characters, and that Oku is obviously superior to everyone. Anyway, Low Barnet, a sunken church with docking ports. Sediment has built up against the lower walls, and long ago choked neglected crypts and crooked tombstones. The interior is sealed, yet the deep peals of the tower's bell can be felt even through a submarine hull. So this is where we were going to deliver the Family Guy character. He presses close to a porthole as you dock. "Low Barnet," he murmurs, "the gate to the deeps." You'll hear tales here from distant trenches of the Untersee, and some of them might even be true, but the strangest ones are jealously guarded. Light from the dock glints in his eye. Hidden mysteries and pliant listeners. He glances at you, then gathers his luggage. "Won't you join me below for a while? An explorer could learn much of value here." So the way this place works, let's get a port report. There is no pulpit. The organ has bent, broken pipes, but Low Barnet is still a house of worship of a sort. Groups of sailors gather in the aisles. The choir benches are clean and face a makeshift stage. Lantern-eyed fish pass behind colorful windows of stained glass. The door to the bell tower is guarded by two burly vergers. The tridents are a nice touch. So this is the third church that we have come across, and the only one that Dreamer has actually been present for. Unfortunately, no nuns. And the way this place works is that you can trade stories. What are stories? This is a second place to turn in your port reports from underwater places. So, since we specifically saved a port report for Rosegate, we can do that. At Low Barnet, everyday animosities are set aside in the pursuit of a fine tale. Kaganian traders mingle with Royal Navy deserters, rum-addled pirates, and rubbery men. There is an air of anticipation and a tolerance for embellishment. Business, that is Unzan erasure, and I will not stand for it. Anyway, let's tell stories about Rosegate. You describe the gleaming cabinets of cigars, the impressions of far-flung places conjured by each puff, the uplifting bite of freshly cut grass under surface sun, the dark whiff of lightless cellars stacked with mushroom wine, the sweating, savage sense of London's flesh pots. Your audience inhales in unison, savoring imaginary smoke. Once you get your storyteller quality to 6, then you can participate in an actual story contest, which you need one of 3 more remote port reports, shall we say, from the Untersee. But we can take a look here to see what some of the places that we might be able to go. The undersea ports include Antha, Hideaway, Nook, Rosegate, Scrimshander, Undercrow, and Rack. And yes, we are actually telling people stories in game. This is what this place is. This is this is essentially a church of storytelling. The congregation is gathered before the altar. A sermon, but there seem to be 2 preachers. A competition is in progress. A voluble visitor tells of the Sideways Regiment, a plunderous legion of trained crabs. First, they present a mighty collective shell. Then comes the onslaught of 1,000 nippers. Why, I only escaped thanks to a timely cloud of ink from my squid, which I befriended for precisely such an occasion. The unlikely story wins the acclaim of the congregation. Whilst her rival slumps, disappointed, the visitor waves her top hat and processes to the bell tower. Its doors close behind her. So, what kind of contest is won by nonsensical lies about crabs? Hey, rude. That was clearly nothing but the truth. You approach an apprehensive seaman who is staring into the distance, perhaps imagining marching ranks of crustaceans. You ask what happened here. Oh, the competition? The best story wins. Captain says it's all in the delivery, but you need a fine yarn to spin too. When you inquire about the winner's reward, his gaze turns wistful. If they're lucky, they get taken up. Wish I had a story to tell. Let's try and sneak into the bell tower. What's in there? Wild riches or just a good buffet? Two surly vergers block your approach to the door. One points back at the congregation. Only winners allowed, he grunts. Next one soon. A few souls linger, gazing at the closed doors of the bell tower. You have just turned away when you hear the sonorous bong of the bell within. Its peals repeat every few seconds before becoming abruptly muffled, then finally silent. An excited murmur runs through the congregation. Although you keep an eye on the bell tower door, the winner does not emerge. So that's all we can do here for now. Aside from trying to win and get into the bell tower, you can also trade the storyteller quality, which you get from turning in your port reports as stories, for rewards. So this is actually a pretty good place to turn in your underwater port reports, although the Admiralty also gives you the normal rewards. Okay, so we're heading up to Venderbite fairly. No, we're not. Now remember, yes, we are. We're gonna go around to the Cumin Canal later. So until we actually get to Venderbite, I'm going to go underwater, since we've been up here twice on top of the sea. That is... what is that? That is a putter pony. Eh. Oh. Abort mission. Oh, shit. Sorry. Let's go back to London and lick our wounds a bit, because that was unfortunate. Also, hi, welcome to the stream, I483. Is that how you pronounce your name? Cool. Okay, I don't normally like to stop this early, but yeah, that was a very unfortunate combination of things. At least we got another 2 supplies from the Scholar, so not all hope is lost. And we need to repair our ship again. Oh hey, we got this again. So I should probably explain about the romance options, because this is technically separate from seducing the cute gunnery gal. setting up a recurring romance with someone back in London can get you a kid, which essentially it makes the transition to your next character a bit easier. However, you can then lose that if you are sleeping around at sea. So for now, let's hold off. Get another sailor to replace the one we just lost, and dry dock the ship. Okay, this time I'm not going to fuck around underwater as much. I'm just going to head off to Vanderbite the normal way. This is probably a good time to sort of explain what I'm doing with this stream. Actually, let's stop at Hunter's Keep as well. I don't plan to show off everything in this game. Like, I'm not going to run through the game multiple times, taking every single option just to show it off with you guys, because, you know, some of you have implied you want to buy the game, and I'd like to keep some things still a surprise. So I'm probably going to run through the game, trying until we can get a winning resolution, while taking limited audience participation from the chat. Oh, right, we don't have something awaits you, so Hunter's Keep is useless. Need to fill the task lamp. So this session, the general plan is to head up to Wither to get the thing we need, and then explore along the north and down part of the east. I feel like we're probably gonna end up looping back around Nook and heading back this way. So it's gonna be a trip. Oh no, so this is not my first rodeo either. I've played let me check. I have played over 400 hours of this game. Anyway, Vanderbite. Oh right, we have to pick that guy up from for Rosegate. An emaciated man is slumped against a wall of the docks, sitting on a huge crate. He waves weakly at you. Oh, thank God, the dogged apprentice gasps. I don't know how long I've been here. It's been days, weeks since I ran out of money. I've got to get back to Rosegate, beneath the waves. His crate rumbles beneath him. Please, help me. And if you had anything I could eat? Let's take him to Rosegate and feed him. We can spare supplies. Thank you. The dogged apprentice springs up to embrace you, but collapses onto the dock. After seeing him to a bunk, you check and double-check that your crew has securely stored away his rumbling crate. I think that answering yes would be... it's kind of a weird technicality there. Anyway, let's sell our mushroom wine. I will sell 9 of it, keeping 1 in case we're gonna... because we're probably gonna swing past Nook. We can also explore. Oh dear. Captain, I'm a good seaman. I'm yours if you'll have me. Will you have me? I'm hungry, I'll work hard. He seems likely enough, if a little ragged and sorrowful. This option gets you more crew, like 1 more crew member, but it can be dangerous, because this guy could end up being unfortunate for the rest of the crew, which can range from everything from being a spy to being a serial killer. Unfortunately, we have no space. Aye, I knowed it before I asked, but I hoped yet. Well then, Captain, take my blessing. You'll remember me another time, eh? When you have a berth spare for a good sailor what knows his way? He's laying it on a bit thick with all the Z's, but perhaps next time, you assure him. Perhaps. If you turn him down, he has a chance of cursing you, which is very bad. But if you have no room, he just accepts it. Got a port report for vendor bite. And just because, let's check. Yeah, we still need quite a few colors. So that's all on vendor bite. Ah, fuck. Bats. Normally I'd fight them, but I can't fucking see in all this fog. I have actually, fairly recently, like about a year ago, I in a single run, or more accurately, a single dynasty, I beat the game in every possible way there is to beat the game. Crash into the edge of the arch. So yeah, I have technically 100%ed this game. Although I have not done every single option for everything. There are still things that are new to me every time. Behind the great arch over the bay, the pale wastes stretch, white and silent as the face of the moon. From here you might almost imagine they were snow. North of the city, the salt pools fizz with unlikely color. Yeah, it is very fun if you don't mind the sailing, and I don't. I think the sailing is awesome. It's a really good, good little simulator. I actually, the sequel, which is in early access right now, I got a copy for donating to the Kickstarter. I don't really like the controls as much because you have more control over what you're doing. Like, if you have to hold forward to keep moving forward, and you can just sort of do things directly. I honestly prefer it where you have to use the whole full steam ahead, steam backwards, actual ship nonsense. We're still dealing with these fucking question assholes. But, let's explore the place. Ah, this again. Grilled troglodyte. Basically just a street vendor. Oh yeah, Dreamer missed this, so I'll reread it. Who'll try? Who'll buy? A street vendor turns skewers on a grill. The mixed scents are nothing like anything sold in London. Try the grilled troglodyte prawns. Huge and pale, and their eyes stare bleakly into yours. But they smell fresh. Try something mysterious. What exactly is Tyrant's Treat? The vendor is vague. It looks something like a charred stick dripping with bluish fluid. And try the shredded jellyfish. It's not to everyone's taste. 37% chance, 18% chance, just 100% chance. Plus more cannibalism options. So last time we tried the grilled troglodyte prawns. Let's try something mysterious. You follow the vendor's advice, holding your nose as you swallow, but the smell, something like rotten fruit, still makes you gag. The stick is leathery, the blue stuff is rubbery as drying mucus. You fail to keep it down and disgrace your captaincy there on the street. We actually got more hungry from that because we threw up. So here's what we need. 1 muter salt. And I'll take the opportunity to purchase some extra supplies with our Tales of Terror. So yeah, this guy sells beast meat for stories. So if we tell him if we tell this dude horror stories, he just hands us a bunch of meat. Okay. And there's Codex. We will, of course, stop there because port reports. It's always good to, at the very least, stop everywhere you can, because port reports are a really good way to make spending money back in London, since they cost nothing to acquire. Oh! Seeing your ship, a drowny approaches with purpose. After a soggy exchange, it seems he seeks passage to the undersea spire of Scrimshander. Few return from Scrimshander, not because of the danger, but because of the cost of leaving. Still, your guest promises compensation to cover the trip and your safe departure afterwards. How generous. And port report. We could also acquire a doomed monster hunter here, but we have no reason to do that since that's actually... Doomed monster hunters are actually ammunition for a gun that we don't have, the Icarus in Black. It's also... It's the highest damage weapon in the game, but it also has the most expensive ammunition in the game. It can two-shot Mount Nomad, which is that 1,000 health monster. But you have to spend Searing Enigmas, one of the rarest items in the game, to get one shot. So, let's not for now. Also, Codex, if anyone wasn't there or doesn't remember, is if you answer a question in Wither instead of asking one, you get exiled, and the exiles go to Codex, where they have a vow of silence. How much Well, there are. It's not really a problem of like how many Searing Enigmas are there. I would say that reliably, I could acquire around 9 or 10 shots. The problem is that most of those Searing Enigma chances are one time only, so you run out very quickly. And here's a. Oh shoot, we forgot to get souls for the Wisterville Devilis. Oh well, we'll get it next time. Yeah, it's fine if you do. She doesn't like get angry or anything, but it's probably better in this case to not waste our something awaits you on that. Got our port report. And we can explore the island. The view from above is actually, I believe, a stat raising thing. A high place, the Z like a rippled sheet of night green jade. The roof of the leaf above, bellied with stalactites and pricked with full star. Look out across the water. What are you thinking of? Your future. From up here, your future looks glorious, if not exactly bright. Your past as a Z urchin. The years before you came to Z, racing across rooftops, snatching pocket watches, tussling with rival gangs, the bleak days in the workhouse and the terror of the constables. All the wide black Z. Where does it end? As a note, this actually shows all of the objectives in the game, even the secret ones. Find your father's bone and then retire. Retire to a life of luxury. Become London's most venerated explorer. Found your own private kingdom. Sail east beyond the Z. And liberate the secret of immortality. I'm going to go with this one for now. I don't want the risk of raising veils from the past option. It just loses 2 terror. You are the captain of your ship, but never the captain of your fate. One day, though. One day. And we have this. A middle-aged woman in a veiled hat is staring at you, waiting for you to notice and listen to her. She begins commandingly, as though you had met at a salon in London, as though there were no burning mountain at her back, and as though you were socially just a little her inferior. Thank goodness, someone who might help me, she says. I have been searching everywhere. My brother is troubled, you see, troubled by some past difficulties. I came to Mount Palmerston because I thought possibly they had his soul. She drops her voice to a whisper on the last words. But it isn't here, and now there's something else I must try, and you have a submarine. The woman is no longer exactly youthful, but she speaks passionately from under her veil. Perhaps she has studied heroines on the stage. I need help, to be reconciled with my dear brother. I'm going to go ahead and listen to her on this one. It's always good to take quests when we have the option to. She has a brother who is dear to her, a sensitive soul, very reserved. He used to work for the Admiralty. Something happened to distress him there. When I asked him about it, he said that I had enough to worry about with my own concerns. My husband was ill at the time. But I could help him if he would only permit me to know his troubles. For, you know, she puts a hand on her heart, bearing one another's burdens is what makes us truly good. She tells you that you'll need to go to Igel, the city of regrets, find her brother's regret, and return it to her. She will pay, gladly. And finally here, let's buy some fuel on the cheap. And, because it's right here, we have another abyss. This one is the Abyss of Graves. So if we are going to do the quest to find Zeno's wife, this will be the last place we go. Shelves have been cut into the rock walls. Some are large enough to hold ancient waterlogged ships crusted with long dead barnacles. Others are smaller, holding pairs of clay coffins and a smattering of grave goods, jugs and bowls. We've already got a thing, and it's not entirely worth getting another one just for this. What is worth doing is going down here, because right next to Mount Palmerston on the Z floor is this place. This is Antha. They call it the City of Flowers, but the flowers are crystals, spiral matrices grown on the walls of Anthian caves. The inhabitants of Antha are at least partly crystal too. They call it going sharp, becoming more perfect and clearer and colder. Alright, let's study the place. The inhabitants of Antha go sharp. Not all at once, but piece by piece they turn to crystal. They sort themselves by sharpness, too. The sharp-handed cluster with others of their kind, ignoring the keen-footed and the brittle-waisted. To progress through Antha is to take on more and more of these attributes, to enter the deeper chambers restricted by sharp style. Choose which chambers you would most like to discover. The Anthians speak of a woman named Rosina, dying of a curious disease and sequestered among the sharp-spleened. So let's grab our port report. Access to Antha is restricted by type of sharpness. Those who are sharp in the ears do not necessarily mingle with the sharp-tongued. As for the inhabitants who are sharp throughout their full bodies, they don't circulate much. There is said to be a cavern, broad and shallow-floored, where the perfectly sharp grow old together. They aren't capable of anyone else's company anymore. At least that's what you're told, and you can hardly go and ask. At any rate, they are more like growing crystals than like people, slowly expanding and bonding with the rock. Consult the woman with the cubicle eyes. Learn how to accept the blessings that Antha offers. Determine what is best for yourself and whose companionship you seek in the bubble caverns. So, this does increase terror if we fail at it, but we can roll hearts to increase our capacity for sharpness. We can also do it through chemical means. We get one free sharpness at the beginning. We can go with 0, we can go with the spleen or the liver. At 1, we can do the lungs or the groin. Yeah, diminish passion, promote hygiene, perfect performance, and dazzle any onlookers. Pursue the company of Antha's nuns, celibates, dancer, and brothel habitués. Yeah, no, you're basically turning your dick into a crystal. Tongue, skeleton, skin, and cutting away all the sharpness. We can't do the groin one yet. The spleen one is the one that gives access to another character here, so let's go with that one for now. Descend into the Antha chamber reserved for those who flourish at the spleen. The stone of the chamber is veined with red. Some members of the Venus Salon wear clothes that reveal the midriff so that one can see the telltale points of the crystal form under their skin. It is a party game here to take turns reading aloud offensive letters to the London newspapers and insulting missives from home, and to compete at not caring in the least. Going sharp in the spleen means surrendering the capacity for anger. And now we can visit Rosina. She is both healer and patient, convalescing in an ice bath among the sharp-spleened. The Anthians speak of her often. The cavern is crowded. In the center is a bathtub full of ice, in which sits a woman in an obvious state of illness. Several Anthians attend her, one with deft, clear fingers. Then there are a number of other people attending, who mostly talk among themselves, but sometimes turn to watch Rosina. Rosina is dying of animescence, the disease of the elder continent. Any passion speeds the disease. She must, therefore, lie very still in an ice bath and think of things that do not interest her. Going sharp in the spleen protects her against the passion of anger, but other passions are still a danger. For a long time she looked for a cure to the disease. Tradition ascribes healing features to certain poems, ointments, and postures of the body, but these only delay the gradual combustion. Animescence is essentially your soul is being set on fire very, very slowly. But yes, I suppose she is dying of anime. Let's keep talking to her. For a long time she looked for cures of the body. I was certain the inhabitants of the elder continent would be able to correct what is wrong, she says. But if they know how, they refuse to say. Now, I merely keep back the disease as long as I can, and seek cures of the sentiment instead. If I keep very calm, my symptoms subside. If you find anything in your travels, works of philosophy or guidance that might help me compose myself, please bring them to me. So, we have a lot of options here to try and heal her. One of the ones is if we have accumulation of the tongue, we can read her a very dry lecture that will bore her to death and start curing the passion disease. And we can also get songs from a different place underwater that we can try and use. But some of them have bad effects, like the love song. Some of these don't actually heal her. Some of these actually make things worse. So you get to decide what to do here. And if you fuck it up too badly, she will die. Anyway, let's try once to cultivate sharpness. Nope. And I'm not going to try again because that raises terror by 7 each time. Goodbye, Antha. It was fun while it lasted. You can reverse the sharpness. It will wound you to do so, though, because you're literally cutting shit off of your internal organs. But yeah, it's oh geez, that current is going the wrong way. You can use currents to Triskeligan. Anyway, you're essentially performing self-surgery if you do that, and cutting into your own spleen to get the crystals off. Did we have yeah. So this time I'll pick this guy up. The tireless mechanic has had enough of Frostfound. He smiles at you over his spectacles, teeth chattering. Brr. So glad to see a ship at last. Ready to offer my services. I'm an engineer, finest you'll ever hire. Treat engines like my own children. Not that I have children, too busy, usually busy. Spot of rust, soon see to that. You there, help me with this spot of rust. I like the tireless mechanic, he's fun. So we have quite a few officers now, including 3 different engineers. And this guy actually increases our fuel efficiency, which is important, so I'll equip him for a while. He also increases our veils by 8, but we can reverse that at any time, just by unequipping him. Oh yeah, also, now that we, since unequipping Maybe's daughter has dipped our iron below 50, we can keep, talking and getting, stats with, the Longshanks Gunner, which, as I've said, is, slightly safer. And let's spend our thing to, as usual, get 1 supplies, 1 fuel, and lose 10 terror, which is, once again, I don't understand why people in this game think that Frostfound is bad news, because it's actually one of the better places to stop. What's around here? We've got the Shepherd Isles there. Sorry. Bumped the microphone. I really need to stop doing that. Yeah, this place is pretty cool. As a small note, you can also spend supplies to repair your ship if it's above 50% hull, which is an important thing that I almost never do. And there's a weather condition I don't believe we've seen yet. That's snow. It basically works the same way as Waxwind. If you sail into it, it makes your engines only able to run at half efficiency. But it's essentially the northern version of that. Anyway, you missed this church last time, Dreamo. So let's go in to the Chapel of Lights. Do you hear music? We can decrease our hunger here. Oh! There we go. There we go. So, that thing that they just fed us, that was human flesh. We are now a cannibal. don't worry too much about it. Cannibalism can be a positive thing under quite a few circumstances. For example, if you're starving, it essentially lets you use crew as food. And it does not have that many downsides. What are you talking about, Zeno? It's the best thing. Now, the services plotline of the Chapel of Lights costs a hell of a lot of supplies as offerings, and doesn't actually do all that much of a good thing for you. We should also stop off at Avid Horizon real quick so I can show something off. You remember this place, right? The edge of the world. Well, not everyone would, but the Avid Horizon. One fun thing about a lot of places is that there's occasionally something that's added when you go under. So I'm going to pull up to the Avid Horizon. And gather intelligence. I can also get another Hunter's Eye. I can't turn it back into the colors dude for another 1,000 echoes, but there is somewhere you can sell it, and it's 77 fragments, so... yeah. I could also choose to increase my terror. I have no idea why I would want to do this. That's certainly something. And I believe we have a friend down here. There he is. These guys are good eating. Oh, you mean the Beloved we're fighting? Beloveds are very slow and don't attack back, and they, oh wait, it looks like they might actually attack. They're just very slow. Yeah, they attack if they get sufficiently angry at you. And boom. They're one of the few things you can fairly safely fight. A cloud of oily bubbles signals the beast's end. Its indeterminable refrain of moans and burbles and plaintive whistles finally dies away like a harmonium going down a drain. Fillet it for supplies. Anything that puts up such a fuss must be edible. The fin! Wait, no, the flank. Wait, the liver. Oh, the eye. Oh, salt. No fruit de mer, this. It's meat. There's no other word for it. Rosy pink and sweet and tasting like the finest steak. No, like cream. No, like marbled honey. And suddenly it is all gone, and only the smell of abyssal brisket is left lingering on your plates, your fingers. This is why you fight beloveds. +1 supplies, a loot box, -25 hunger, and -5 terror. These guys are a joy to kill. So let's open our new loot box. It will serve, but the smoke brings a kind of horror, a waking dream, a kinesthetic sense of vast things coiling and crushing lightless black. So yet another supplies, which is very nice. That is a mine. We don't want to get close to those. That is something moving. Wonder what it is. Well, it's gone now. I'm not quite stupid enough to chase after unknown things underwater. Let's head back to the surface to check out this next area. Technically, the settlement is underwater, but it's worth seeing it on the surface first. We enter Stormbones. St. Eligius sends his fire to dance in the air. On deck, very far away, we see the great light of the Ragged Crow. That thing is a tyrant moth. And this is the Ragged Crow Lighthouse. You can't actually land here. Or at least, you couldn't before the DLC. Hey, we got this one again, but this time, if you remember, each other time we've just explained the scientific mechanics of the blue light lamp. This time, let's use a story. Now, any lover knows what a blue light means. Rubies the size of grapes and grapes the size of apples. Of course, the island's only visible in blue light, and then only for an instant. But if we find it, my hearts, if we find it. They grin. They don't exactly believe it, but they'd like to. This is the Undercrow. A deep, well-lit cavern, thick with a fungal smoke and cave moths. Far above, a lighthouse fire burns. The scent of it is curiously medicinal. It clouds your head and burns your lungs. Farther into the fog, you can make out labored breathing. Let's get our port report. It's little more than a cave and a lighthouse fire, but the Admiralty appreciates thoroughness. A ramshackle array of pulleys allows the Undercrow's reclusive resident to feed the fire above. The herby smoke of the fungal fire has preservative qualities, but dust everything in a fine gray deposit. Meanwhile, the fire distracts the more aggressive moths and warns ships far above. All is well, or as well as can be expected. Here at last, the fog voice croaks. Come closer. The incomparable Aurelian rolls his eyes, but advances nonetheless. We picked this guy up in Port Carnelian, and he said he was looking for the Undercrow. Your passenger gazes impassively at a bulbous figure, whispering quietly. As the fog parts, you can make out milky eyes and a toothless grimace. No tomb colonist ever looked as ancient or unwell as the almost dead man before you. Gray, bloated, and nearly embalmed by the fungal smoke, it's difficult to tell where his skin ends and the stone bed beneath him begins. His breath is shallow, but his bare chest heaves to a different rhythm. A shape crawls beneath his ribs, but disappears as the man lets out a gassy sigh. "Allow me to introduce you, Captain," the incomparable Aurelian says, slipping you a modest payment. "This is Lorenzo, my erstwhile mentor and host to the Most Moth." Yep, the Undercrow and the Ragged Crow in general is kind of moth central. "You've a submarine," the almost dead man wheezes. "Entertain a dying man's last requests?" "Mortality has a way of finding us in the end," the almost dead man wheezes to himself, dislodging a cloud of cave moths. The incomparable Aurelian spares them only a disappointed glance. "I must set my affairs in order. I owe that much to my successor." He waves a withered hand feebly. It's not clear whether the gesture suggests the companion at his bedside or the one nestled within his ribs. "So, Captain, would you help an old man say his farewells?" "Deliver a letter of farewell to a sprightly visionary at Hideaway." "He deserved more than I had to give," the almost dead man croaks. How did he come to know one of the exiles of Hideaway? No answer is forthcoming, but the old man displays a broken grin. "The old history of foolhardy youths," he confides, "who somehow became old men." So here's an interesting little moral choice aspect. Actually, I'll do this first. "When my master retired here, we both thought it would be his last destination." The Aurelian's eyes take the sheen of a patient man approaching a long-delayed payoff. "No one has been present at the Most Moth's hatching before. Well, no one who is in a condition to remember it afterward." He spares a hesitant glance over his shoulder at the almost dead man. "Of course, being by my master's side during his final days is a necessary part of the process." So, we'll say goodbye to the Undercrow for now. Here's our moral choice. Someone has entrusted you with correspondence of the utmost privacy. Well, is that wise? At a mirror's question, we can secretly read the letter ourselves, which is very rude, but will give us more of the story. We can also throw it away and claim that we have delivered it, because obviously Lorenzo won't know the difference. Or we can not betray his trust. Now, obviously for now, we don't betray his trust. However, until you deliver the letter, that option will always be there, taunting you. Personally, I think that's pretty clever. I like that particular implementation of moral choice. It's just always there. And now, another one of my favorite locations in the game. This time for a reason that is not Vor. Yep, Irem. Strange puffs of warmth from the air behind the ice. This is the pillared sea where Irem will lie. Lies. Has always lain. Get ready for some very confusing tenses. We are in the far northeast. Oh, that red? Those are actually rose petals. None have ever spoken truthfully of this place. Irem, the pillared city. She will rise from the sea in the ice-like dawn. She will be garlanded with red and decked with gold. The Seven Serpent will watch you longingly from its high pedestal. You will always arrive as a stranger, but when you leave, some part of you will always remain. You will record what you have seen. When you will sit down to write the report, you will recall that it was written already. Who wrote it? The report records that. It was already written when it was found. Who found it? The report describes another report, which will indicate the name of the finder. Where is the other report? There is a footnote which describes when you will record its location. When will that be? When all is well and all manner of things well. Makes sense, right? So, Irem, most of its stuff is actually in the shops. Very few things actually cost money in Irem, mostly at Threshold. I'll go ahead and buy 2 fuel to keep us going. It's not exactly the high wilderness I-483. It's that Irem is directly on the border of Parabola, which is the realm behind mirrors. It's where the Finger King snakes are from, and it's where you go when you take prisoners' honey. So, Wind Come Calling, this is actually one of the few places in the game where you can actually just straight up buy Searing Enigmas. You need extraordinary implications for it, though. Which you can also buy for 333 echoes. You can also buy secrets for 999 echoes. Basically, this shop is, if you've, you can always make money, no matter what, in Sunless Sea. There's never a situation you will be in where you can't make money. It might be very boring and a bit of a slog, but you always have money, and if you do that, you will always have the ability to continue improving yourself and enjoying the game because of Irem. However, the thing I'm more here for is, well, first off, this. Remember this box that we had at the very beginning of the game? A heavy-lidded fellow in a satin smock will smile at you. One of ours, he will say. We made it to order for a Z captain to guard her legacy. She might tell you the phrase. We do not. So we can give them the box. Yep, this is the whisper-locked box. We can give them the box in exchange for compensation, or ask them where to find the captain. Let's, I happen to know that the reward for this is better than the compensation they would give. Which is the cat's chiefest claw? What cage imprisons nothing, the fellow will say. Where do petals begin? Where do stories end? He beams at you. Actually, for an Iremi riddle, that's almost helpful. He's suggesting we head to the Isle of Cats, which is, we've actually already been there. It's right here, that pirate place with all the honey. The other place with roses. Anyway, let's spend our something awaits you to visit the House of the Amber Sky. Rest, traveler. Our waters are warm, our cushions are petal soft. Lay your head here. You will be healed, or better yet, you will be renewed. Payment in coffee? Yes, please. That's why I've been lugging around sacks of dark drop coffee from London, is because Irem requires it. The House of the Amber Sky is a roofless space beneath the false stars of the Neath, rich with the scent of Irem roses. Despite the ice, it's warm as a desert evening. You will arrange yourself on the cushions, close your eyes just for a moment. The mirror marches. Beneath the skin of dreams, behind the faces of mirrors, an orange sun sails in a fervid sky. Here are the borderlands of that place, close by Irem and closest still to the House of the Amber Sky. And here you are in another place. The sun is warm on your uncovered head. So, I'm going to do two things here. The first off is I'm going to spend the Searing Enigma, and the second is I'm going to get a thing for the Magician. However, I'm going to do the Magician's first. The jungle around you is rich with violently colored fruit, buzzing with insects and unseen life. There's something nestled in the mossy crook of a gray-leafed tree. A wooden serpent, lacquered with black, red, and yellow. Its eyes are garnet flakes. Mind if I pick that up? The genial magician asks. What, was he with you when you lay down to sleep? A weapon, perhaps. Humans rule the waking world, he tells you, more or less. And the Finger Kings rule most of this place. A long time ago, some rather careless people made these images to imprison Finger Kings. I'm not so careless. I can use it to enact my vengeance on the king that took my hand. He is gloating. He actually strokes his mustache with his hook. He retires to his cabin to investigate the serpent image, but emerges a day later disappointed. Different geometries, he explains obscurely. Do you mind if we pop by the Connet? I can find someone there to help me work this one out. That has advanced the magician's story. And now that we're done with Irem, let's go south. So since there's not a ton to talk about in terms of what I'm doing at the moment until we get to the next island, this might be a good opportunity to explain a bit about making money in this game. Or, never mind, the next... oh boy. Favorite song? Stone Storm Salt. Welcome to Savior's Rocks, everyone. Welcome to spiders. So, spiders. Oh, no. They don't eat the spiders. The glumness of the nativity is broken by the reds and golds of freshly hung banners. Spider-worshipping weavers and widows guide the traders in readying their celebration of gratitude to the generous neighbors that silently watch over them from the shadows. Delivering the letter is that thing that just is whether or not you throw the letter away or open it or trust yourself. It is always available no matter where you are. Right. We do have a cask of mushroom wine, which means we won't be able to go to Nook. But let's grab the port report from Savior's Rocks instead. The silk traders don't talk much. In particular, they don't talk of the sorrow spiders at their feet, over their heads, or crawling over them as they sleep. Spiders will not be having that kind of talk about the generous neighbors, they say with haste, in raised voices. We can take a doctor for free. Please, I must leave this terrible place. The sorrow spiders will not take me back, please. Welcome aboard? The haunted doctor hurries aboard the ship. He pauses, looking at the cursed wasteland of Savior's Rocks. The lady said I would never be able to get back once it was thrown away. I see she was... Never mind. Is this my cabin? Yes, it is more than I deserve. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Assist with festival preparations, which increases the Savior's Rock storyline. I might not be doing this. The storyline's kind of expensive and complicated to do, and doesn't really have that great of a resolution. Thank you, Dreamo. But it's good to just get started anyway. The traders of the Nativity have little practice showing appreciation, but at least put in an effort. In particular, they not entirely accidentally let slip the secret of the Accord of Grace, a hospitality granted visitors by the generous neighbors of whom they will speak no ill. They do, however, hint that this only applies to travelers arriving through the port. Those unlucky enough to run aground on the rocks can consider themselves... but no. A sorrow spider might hear something they would of course never say. The fine silk of Savior's Rocks is the most coveted in the Neath. There can be no better time to acquire some without the usual trader's markup. I'll do this once. It's 2 supplies for a silk, which is an overall... If you sell it in London, it's an overall profit. The only issue is it takes away some of your food, but that's not going to be a problem very shortly. We'll only be needing you to stock up on supplies like this till after the Festival of Silk, warns the merchant as his people load your goods onto the ship. It'll be back to Echoes like regular after that, but still, you come to see me and I'll give you a deal that'd turn Mr. Vales' cloak white. He pauses for a moment, checking the shadow on instinct. Of course, if anyone asks, I never said that. A delivery of trinkets. An almost entirely legitimate silk trader urgently requests your help with the delivery to Fallen London. Trinkets? Just trinkets, confirms the man, holding out the box. From inside comes a slight cracking sound, a hiss, a scratch that hints at nail on wood. Trinkets, he repeats, not meeting your eyes. Okay. So we're delivering trinkets, which are almost certainly not spider eggs. Let's get out of this place. Trinkets. Just trinkets. That's the Tree of Ages. It's okay, it's not actually a tree. The description of it is a ship that is entirely crewed by and composed of spiders. Oh, thank goodness this is the place I wanted us to be at next. Okay, bring the terror down a bit. Eastival. Depending on which way we go back, yeah, considering this is the furthest east we're going to go, nuns are right here. So we will be, and we have to go here anyway, so we will be visiting nuns on the way back. Oh, sorry. Either way, you ready for, like, a normal island for once? Welcome to Eastival. Sun! A great beam of sunlight bathes the island. Squint into the dazzle. Far above, there's a hole in the roof. In that light, you see beaches of white gold sand, trees heavy with bright fruit, the reds and blues and greens of the surface. Oh, no. Zeno, it is entirely normal. It is a completely normal location. Here's the thing, though. We are not normal. We live underground, which means sunlight is lethal. So the first thing we want to do is investigate these ruins. There was some sort of installation here, and what looks like a handsome country house. Who was here, and what happened to them? A garden overgrown with berry bushes, a wooden trestle table set for a meal, chairs strewn with bones, a half-dozen skeletons. A red-breasted bird perches on a grinning cranium. It cocks an eye at you and bursts into song, a liquid, thrilling sound. It seems unperturbed as you approach to poke through the bones. No signs of violence, no fire, no bullets, no bites. These people died peacefully, sitting down to breakfast as the surface sunlight spilled over them. Sunlight can kill at any time. The longer you remain here, the more danger you're in. So why did they stay? Perhaps they stayed because Eastival is as beautiful as anywhere in the Neath and 10 times as generous. It's a fine place for a colony. You could found your own pocket kingdom, if you could do something about the sun. But what? What has power over sunlight? What makes the impossible possible? We found a hidden ambition. Colonize and improve Eastival to found your own kingdom. Let's write our report. Your eyes water, the pages blur. The report is one of joy-filled complaint. Eastival has a beauty too bright to be appreciated. But perhaps the Admiralty can find something of use. Honestly, the colony is one of the most expensive and complicated ambitions in the game, but also one of the most rewarding. Zeno, the anarchists would fucking kill you for saying that. Go beachcombing is an option that you never ever take here, because there's a much better option. Gather supplies. Exotic delights. You fill your stores with breadfruit, sugarcane, coconut, soft-shelled crabs, and plump birds too stupid to know a hungry sailor from a tree. But on the way back to the ship, one of your crew topples over with a groan. She's smiling blissfully. "Go on, Captain," she says. "I've missed the sun." Her eyes close. Sunlight is perilous for those who've lived in the Neath too long. Here's the thing. Here's a hint as where you might want to go to deal with the sunlight here. If you remember, we've actually seen a sun very, very recently. You've been referencing it. There might be something there that can help us out with this. Anyway, we have, in exchange for one crew, which does not always happen, that is a random chance, we got 9 supplies. We now have more supplies than we have fuel. And, oh, ow. You fill the box successfully, but the sunlight has lit a fire in your bones. You struggle back to the ship and wait while the fever subsides. Be wary. This is true sunlight, and it can be unpredictable death to those who've spent too long here below. We now have 1 wound. At 3 wounds, we will die. Where's the wound? It's in the journal. Under menaces, we can actually say we have several menaces now. Yearning burning, which is related to sunlight specifically. Wounds. Wait, you do? I have never gotten that. Oh, wow. That actually, getting a judgment egg from Eastival, that makes it a whole lot more appealing. Still, this far to the east, supplies are probably still the better option. Anyway, we're not quite done in the colonies yet. You guys like crabs, right? Oh no, Dreamo, you're gonna miss the nuns again. This is Hideaway. Time for crab! Well, either way, this one I actually have remembered to record, so Dreamo will be able to see the nuns no matter what. On the back of a gigantic beast live exiles from every corner of the Neath. Here gather the traitors, heretics, artists, fools, and the too honest. Despite possessing a range of radically different ideologies, these outcasts live together peacefully. Most Hideaway dwellers toil to strengthen their city against the Z's crushing weight. Those that don't instead prepare for that night's festival, and all without a word spoken aloud. If they need to communicate, the people of Hideaway rely on a strict system of acutely formal gestures. Here's where we drop off that asshole that asked us about Tuhu shipping. The impolite investigator grins as he disembarks. As soon as he's exited your ship, he spots a small ancient man, the sprightly visionary. The investigator rushes over to him and shakes his hand while unleashing a barrage of questions. What's your name? Reason for exile? How's the food? The visionary writes a message in the notebook chained to his wrist. He presents it to you both. Welcome. Sorry, must run. You need to register yourself. Go straight ahead. Advice? No questions. Befriend Temtem. Good day. Yes, the crab's name is Temtem. As for the sprightly visionary, a small man with liver spots on his head and wispy white hairs on his chin is struggling to roll a wheel of heavy cabling. Together, you roll the wheel through Hideaway. You pass women lugging blowtorches and bags of cement, and men trying to smile as they put on diving suits. Eventually, you pass through an iron gate to a workroom. At the room's center is a deep pit. A large electrical alternator looms against the back wall. The visionary plugs the cable into the alternator and slowly feeds the rest down into the pit. When finished, he writes a short message in the notebook chained to his wrist. Thank you. Usual help's working on faulty line. May need you in future. As he hands you the note, he looks up, revealing his neck. It's one huge scar. This is the sprightly visionary, by the way. We don't have enough fuel to actually give him any, but we do have the opportunity to see what he looks like, kind of. By implication, yes, I think. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be from the continent or if he's actually originally just a exile from elsewhere. There's a couple of places that have an Asian aesthetic, but the continent is the most obvious one. And the final thing to do with the sprightly visionary is give him our letter. This would be our last chance to take the 40% to read it, but I believe that there's been an agreement in the chat that we should leave it untouched. The sprightly visionary tears open the letter, scanning it quickly, then reading it again more closely. His emotions are guarded, but his fingers gently trace the ascot around his neck. In response, the visionary writes only, "Tell Lorenzo he is dismissed from his service." Hesitantly, he gives the salute of a cognate commander before rushing off to busy himself with other work. It looks like he is from the continent. I had forgotten about that. The impolite investigator ignores the patterns of resting and waking established in Hideaway. He never seems to sleep. At all hours, he can be found asking questions or studying the city. Today, however, he's withdrawn to his room and is unduly quiet. What's he up to? This is a bad idea. This will get your crew very much killed, and we don't have enough crew to make that a good trade-off. So we will not be increasing that yet. The last thing to do at Hideaway, besides no shops, I think there actually is a way to make there be a shop. Yep, where do they store their goods? Perhaps they have something to trade. There it is, the Exile Bazaar. We can sell our supplies, fuel, candles, and sapphires here. Or we can buy these things, which they certainly exist. I'll buy one for a thing. I believe that, yeah, it's used for this character. And festivals. Though you do not reside in Hideaway, the people of the city will allow you to participate in their festivals, if you aid the preparation for them. But they don't like trespassers learning their customs. Festivals will become increasingly costly to attend. So there's 3 possible festivals that we can do. Each of them costs us 1 supplies. The silent reel. Throughout the night, the people will dance. There will be no music nor any obligations to conform to a particular style. The hour of our reflection. There is a dweller too ancient and too mad to help maintain hideaway. Instead, the suggester serves a ceremonial role. During the festival, they bark out a phrase, which everyone then represents through art. Invariably, the topics are variations on Handsome Temtem's generosity or Hideaway's superb lifestyles, and the rainbowing. Revelers will indulge in a colorful feast featuring the finest food Hideaway can manage to find in its abyssal depths. Which festival should we do? You have one vote for rainbowing. Anybody else? Not seeing any votes. Let's go with rainbowing. Oh wait, we've got a vote from Zeno for silent reel. I'll have to flip a coin. Let's see. Oh wait, silent reel. We got three total votes. Sorry, Frog. A high lattice has been constructed over the festival square. It holds dozens of filament bulbs. A spool has been suspended in the center of the square. It is wound with a dull puce ribbon. When the ribbon is entirely unwound, the festival will end. The master of the dance holds the ribbon in his teeth. He is dancing through the crowd. The master claps his hands at a shuffling dancer. The shuffler gives a smile, but his eyes fill with hate. He bites a section of ribbon, fixing it between his teeth, and joins the master's dance. Okay. How long has it been? The master of the dance has obliged more to bite onto the ribbon, but he still has so many left to claim. You must have been dancing for a few hours now, but it just goes on. The only relief from the quiet is the irregular clap from the master of the dance. The great chain of dancers weaves through the crowd without a noise. There are formerly holy teachers, once monarchs, warriors without battles, short-changed merchants, a growing and ceaseless parade. Some move with grace, others only sway in their steps out of obligation. The spool continues to unreel. We should probably not sing. That would be a bad idea. The people look like they're on the edge of miserable tears, and who wouldn't be dancing in this awful quiet? Give them a song! Let's not. Let's respect their festival this time. Eventually, the master claps at you, and you bite the ribbon and take your place. Shortly thereafter, the spool unwinds completely. There is a modest bang, and the air fills with fluttering papers. On each, a resident of Hideaway has written their secret. The dancers fall on them in a frenzy. You snatch as many as you can. The one whose mercy led to colonial establishment. The seller of names. The one whose theories on is not proved too dangerous. The one who stormed the city... What's this? The name is too smudged to read. So we got all kinds of stories. And yeah. So that's Hideaway. So there's okay, Iram. Savior's Rocks, Eastival. Which one am I missing? There's, I think, 2 more things on the east side of the map. I'll take a chance on this. You know what? No. It's too risky. We have 10 hull. In fact, just being underwater right now is a bit too risky. We will be instead going to the vague northwest in order to reach Scrimshander. We've made it all the way here, and it is time for the trip back. We have another abyss. I forget what's up. What could possibly be up this way? Probably the either the principles or the other one. Or the mycologia. Blech. That word doesn't feel good in my mouth. So where are we? Here we go. Principles of Coral. This place is fun. Oh, hey, we get this randomly when we're wounded. You're hurt. You should really be in bed. We can spend 1 supplies to heal our wound, or since we're already going back, we can tough it out. Stuff and nonsense. March around the deck shouting courageously. This will slightly reduce terror, but may occasionally injure you further. Sailors are basically impressed by buccaneering machismo, except sometimes when buccaneering machismo kills their captain stone dead. On this occasion, you are not dead. And that's a shark. That's a shark. Let's go away from the shark. What? How did... What hit me? Oh. That hit me. Shit. Yeah, no, this is, You know what? Everything else is canceled. I just want to get back to London. Because we have a very good chance of actually dying here. The unfortunate combination of enemies blindsided me with a Alceus class corvette, which is probably more dangerous than the shark, honestly. This is a risky run when you go too far east.
You have to go across a lot of ground to get back to safety. One of the advantages of having your own colony in Easterville, it doesn't immediately, it does not immediately take you out of the game. You actually have to improve your colony to an extent. But what it does do is give you a sort of secondary London to the east, which makes navigation around that area so much easier. Unfortunately, it's still prohibitively expensive to even get that far. Also, since crashing into things and entering whirlpools does do 1 damage, we have to be extra careful right now because accidentally hitting the edge of a rock could end our game. Okay, we're getting close. We only have 1 more tile to go over. I could do this faster by steaming, but I don't want to risk it because that can damage your hull. That has happened to me before, Frog. It's fine. It was not in a game that I was playing Iron Man style, so I just reloaded my save. That's one of the nice things about Iron Man in this game. It's very much a choice of the player to how they want to play it, and there is a robust autosave system. We are almost there. And that's crab. Normally I would be happy to see him because they're fun, but right now I really don't need... Good, he's turned around. Uh-oh. What I am going to do, because I think I can get away with it, because we're close enough to London, is swing around and stop at the light ship. In order to get a story. Now, as long as we don't crash directly into London, we should be fine. We are back in London. Oh, shoot. Her Enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the Masters of the Bazaar. Today they have selected you for an inspection. Don't cheek them. Normally this would be fine, but we currently have something illegal. We can't declare it because it's so illegal that we have to just surrender immediately. So it does cost us 5 favors, but let's claim Admiralty business. Of course, you hint at secret business. The duty officer snaps a salute and barks an order. You may pass. We have started having nightmares from all the fear that's been happening, but that's fine. Nightmares aren't actually a big deal. Let's deliver our trinkets. Still a firmly sealed crate of what are absolutely not sorrow spider eggs. Well, that's a relief. Or maybe you just got lucky. Either way, they made it. So did you. What was the address on the crate? Somerset College? On second thoughts, it hardly matters. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and submit our reports. Hunter's Keep. Mount Palmerston. Fenderbite. Wither. Chapel of Lights. We're still not doing Santa yet. That would be that would take up a lot of time that could be better spent showing you guys around. We'll do it eventually. Savior's Rocks. Goodness, we don't often hear news from there. Screaming sometimes. How curious. No spiders at all, they say. They are indeed blessed. I had always wondered if it might be a myth. Oh God, what tense is it written in? Oh God. Look, just read it to my colleague here. He'll give you your fee. I'll be over there when you're done. Ah yes, the congregation that worships stories. What did they tell you? Wolfstack Docks reduces my terror. My lodgings reduce it further, which, another note, resting in your lodgings reduces your wounds. Yeah, that too. What is this even? We're going to be selling that somewhere. I believe we should probably go to the Isle of Cats since we're going there anyway. But yeah. Now, what we do have, though, is Muttersalt for Slivy. Thanks. You ever been to the Shell in it? Dirty great city in a turtle's shell. The bone men there, the priests of Storm, they've got what's left of your father. Good luck getting him back. They're all mad as butter. How do I know? He makes a fist, slowly lifts it to indicate the roof of the Neath far above. In the Shell in it, they talk to Storm, and Storm, he talks to me, the god in the roof. He's a fearsome old thing. Don't piss him off, that's my advice. And if you don't want to piss him off, don't piss the bone men off. Or me, come to that. The Shell in its interesting location. Oh yes, dry dock. I almost forgot. Yeah, there were ideas early on in the development of Sunless Sea where you could convert your ship into a Zeppelin. Oh, what just happened, business, is that we got the our urchin contact the thing he needed, and he gave us information on our missing father. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. It would have been really awesome if they reached that goal, but sadly they did not. Luckily, they did reach all of their goals for Sunless Skies. Oh, he explained. He talks to Storm, one of the three gods of the Sea. Storm lives in the roof. It would have been really awesome though to like go up to the roof in a Zeppelin, because the implication, we would have found out what Storm looked like and would have been able to go there. Well, at least you can find him in Fallen London. And we can sell our spider silk. Nice. Okay. How much longer do you guys like have for streaming purposes? Because I'm thinking that I don't want to end it just yet, but there's not much left to do this time. Just a couple of errands to run that we didn't manage on the way back because of the unfortunate events at Port Cecil. In the meantime, I will, yeah, my plan is go down to Cumian Canal, quick run to the Isle of Cats, and then probably up to the Sisterhood and places around there. Maybe, not sure. Yeah, because it's getting towards. I normally stop around 5 or 5:30, and we've got about half an hour left. So I don't know if Dreamer's gonna be coming back after the food, but yeah. I don't necessarily want to not show him the nuns, because otherwise he might never come back, and that would be very sad. After the spiders. It's probably fine. But yeah, I feel like we're probably winding down on this one. But hey, we managed to explore out super far east. One of the problems with especially like streaming this game to show off new stuff is that the most important like instance of any island is the first impression. And the more you explore around, the more first impressions you get, until you've like, basically, we've explored the entire map except for the southeast corner. It's not actually that hard to explore a bunch of places in this game. Oh hey, we've got a nightmare of a giant eye. Yeah, the Sea of Statues is interesting. Anyway, let's kill a crab. Eh. either way, once we finish exploring around places, then the best thing to do is to actually start working on the game's story. And that's an important thing because the ambition, which is essentially our story, is going to be complicated to do and require a hell of a lot of running around doing errands. Not like bad errands, just like it's basically find a bunch of things, but they don't really tell you where to find them, so you have to explore more. Gather a report. Row out and meet a contact at the foot of the Albertine Gates. The password is the Empire Remembers. A deeply tanned vagabond waits in a jolly boat. His clothes are ragged and his face is filthy, but his voice and manners are educated. His message is a string of numbers and the names of 7 towns in Essex, Shropshire, Cumbria. He insists that you repeat it back to him 3 times. He will not allow you to commit it to paper. So we now have 2 strategic information. We can use this along with a story. Let's use our memory of distant shores to create 1 vital intelligence. And that is why you don't sell your strategic information, because vital intelligence is worth more. And we have more moves in the game. Sorry if I'm getting all silent too often, by the way. Sometimes I don't really know what to talk about because the things on screen are just kind of happening. I hope that's all right. So earlier I was talking about making money in this game. There's basically 4 ways to do it. The first is basic collection. You just go around gathering port reports, grabbing anything that interests you. This is a good way to make some spending money, but not a good way to, have a nest egg. You will end up spending most of it on fuel and such if you do that. Second way is by doing quests, which, as I've said before, are the best way to make money in this game. However, it's not the most sustainable way since you can really only do quests 1 time per. So the actual ways to really supplement your income is through basic trade and advanced trade. Basic trade is what I've been doing so far. It's good for a while, but it doesn't make you a lot of stuff. Like buying wine in London and selling it in Venderbite. Kind of... You're making a profit of like 1 or 2 echoes per hold slot, which is not great. The best basic trade option that you have is bringing wine to Godfall for 9 echoes per bottle, but that's only available for a certain amount of time. It eventually becomes a net loss if you do it too often. And the last way is advanced trade. And advanced trade is basically, it involves buying a thing in one place, exchanging it for a different good at a different place, and then, just keep going until you make an actual profit off of it, which can give you, like, 30 to 40 to even like upwards of 60 echoes per hold slot that you use on trade, but takes a hell of a long time. Anyway. This guy will, or individual of ambiguous gender, will pay us 500 echoes for our whisper-locked box. Or we can pay them 500 echoes, and they'll tell us the next step. We're not going to do that quite yet. What we are going to do is sell sunlight. And before we do that, I'm going to equip everyone who raises veils. In order to slightly game the chance. It's about as much as I can do. It's not a problem if we fail this, we'll just lose our box. Yep. You technically get more money for it, but yeah. In backrooms and cellars and tangles behind warehouses, you make careful arrangements. The deal is only to take place at second hand. Your intermediary will meet theirs. Unfortunately, their intermediary palms off yours with an empty crate, not the original mirror catch box. You're 500 echoes richer, but you'll need another box if you're to do this run again. We could spend that 500 echoes immediately on the whisper-locked box, but that's not actually a great idea. I'd build up more of a nest egg before doing that. And we've got our port report. Yep, this is the place with the brain honey. In general, they just are a place for buying and selling druggy stuff in general. And we are going to... Yeah, no, it's... Oh, wait, no, yeah, we have a person to drop off, and we have full hull. I was still thinking with no hull logic. Generally, underwater is more dangerous than the surface. Mostly because of certain effects of high terror. And we still have Philades patrolling Rosegate. Yeah, just, you are not welcome here. So we've got our pamphlet. The crotchety tobacconist bends over the shop counter, annotating a large sheet of paper. He glances up at the dogged apprentice and bites down on his cigar. His face is blackened with soot. Last batch blew up on me. Welcome back. The crotchety tobacconist reaches across the counter to shake your hand. Our patron has forsaken us. He's only interested in his project to the south. He left my apprentice to starve, and he hasn't arranged a delivery of the materials I require. I've run out of rubies to try to convince him otherwise, which makes your intervention all the more propitious. He puffs a great ring of smoke into the air above your head. It takes several moments for the halo to disperse. Captain, we're on the verge of a tremendous breakthrough. I'm about to create something beautiful, something noble. A cigar which will burn underwater. I think I've finally found the right mixture. He taps the sheet on his counter. It is covered in incomprehensible scrawling, equations beyond the mathematical. 3 flavors, something robust, something bitter, and something luscious. Once I have them, I can finally complete it. give this a shot. The crotchety tobacconist glowers at the rumbling crate. We'll need to shift the bloody thing up the stairs. Help us get it up there, won't you? Yep, 100% iron chance. One labored step at a time, the three of you carry the crate up the stairs. The apprentice takes heavy breaths. The tobacconist swears so often you're uncertain if he breathes at all. Eventually, you make it into the workshop and chain the cargo into the corner. You unfinished bastard, the tobacconist huffs, stretching his back. We've got you now. Unfinished men are a specific type of claymen. Claymen are golems. They're just straight up golems. They're golems used for menial labor. That's all we can do here for now. We need special things to do anything else. And speaking of actually underwater stuff, we have one more place we can visit. Nice. Discworld references. God, I love that series. So, apparently right north of Rosegate is Rack. And I'm very sad Dreamer isn't here to see this because I'm sure he would love this place. It doesn't have nuns, but it has something else cool. Sure, you guys will enjoy it too, though. The wreckers surround your docked submarine. They greet you with crooked blades and rusted blunderbusses. Easy, trespasser. You want in? You prove you belong here. We can spend one tale of terror. Tell them of your exploits. Impress them with tales of your daring. Or at least make yourself the hero of a violent story you overheard. Or wrestle them. That's right, all of them. 40% chance. I'm doing it. You launch headlong into the crowd, taking a sinewy scavenger and two of the fellows behind her down into the floor. You leap onto a cruel pack of poets who curse you in Greek, flip a miner who rushes at you with a hooked knife. But the Zailor who screams the Assyrian war cry puts you in a headlock and throws you back onto your submarine. The wreckers roar with laughter. You've got to show us better than that! And there we go. Took us 3 tries, but headlock a Zailor who screams an ancient Assyrian war cry. One catches you from behind in a hug. She laughs in your ear. The rest of the wreckers raise their weapons and cheer, "Damn fine, trespasser! Welcome to Rack!" Ships lured by false promises and lights litter the Z floor. Their broken hulls make a city for the wreckers. The citizens are in constant motion, working to survive and appease the fair king, who sits deep within the city on his wheeled throne. Got our port report. And unlock the shops. Stores are running low. There is enough food to subsist for a time, but the poets may soon be out of paper, and the miners won't be able to make their explosives if their powder isn't refreshed. But the fair king ensures there is order. He goes without just as his subjects do, and he sees that those who forsake their work for despair are flogged. So yeah, we can buy a few things here. But until we get some skintilac, this place will be mostly closed off. Because to do anything of interest in Rack, you need to have an audience with the fair king. How's our hold? We've got enough space. Let's head back up. You know what? Let's kill some pirates. With ships, the best thing to do is get directly behind them and out of their firing arcs. If you follow their trail, you can stay out of their line of sight. And essentially do this. No damage. We have 2 supplies, 2 fuel, and some sort of barrel. A cask of wine. In the flaring light, it's Z-dark, but the taste is the darkness of autumn. Mushroom wine. An acquired taste, perhaps, but once you've acquired it, who'd go back to grapes? Nasty little bubbles of goo, grapes. Can't relate, I love grapes. One of my favorite foods, actually. This time, at the Salt Lions, we're not going to do that thing we did the other time. We are going to visit the Unmakers. We get funding from the Bazaar, it's true, but Station 4? I wouldn't call it Station 4. It's a little grandiose. The stones are stuffed with secrets, but most of them are used as garden statuary or occult ballast. Most of them. Some go down to the places under the Bazaar. More tea cakes? Basically, a bunch of miners are chipping away at these sphinxes. The Unmakers are here to reduce the Salt Lions to rubble, 1 block at a time. Help them in their work by carrying the rubble back to London. We need 20 units of spare cargo, which we have, and a deposit of 200 echoes. If the stones weep, an Unmaker advises you, ignore them. Unless they flood your hold, of course. Then you should probably drop them overboard. Don't tell anyone I said that. Where else can we go? I think that's it for now. Back to London. I'll do some stuff in London, and since we have 5 minutes left before 5, yeah, we had this discussion the first time, but it wasn't recorded, so anyway, here's a Alceus class. You know what? I like my chances. I believe you could do it twice. Yep. Previously in the game, these ships would just be like normal pirate ships that were just slightly higher, but with the addition of the Kickstarter exclusive content to everyone, which they did eventually, they're now a bit more profitable. And here we go. At this point, yep. Ooh. It's much easier to lead ships around in circles than to do that with sea monsters. Captain, quick, over there, port side. The legendary Claywoman Corsair. She clings tight to the last few scraps of floating debris, but defeated but defiant. Throw her rope, claim a bounty. It takes 3 crewmen to pull the pirate poet from the Z's clutches, while others mutter about bringing an unfinished woman aboard ship. She just smirks. She carries little on her but the verses of poetry tattooed over every visible inch, and an old sword almost as chipped as she is. Fortunately, her salvaged possessions also include the jangling money purse on her belt, fat and ready to pay the traditional freedom price of her current bounty. As much as the crew could subdue her, all are relieved once she is aboard a lifeboat, rowing away through the darkness towards Guider's Morn. 400 echoes. Not bad. Oh hey, we've got the star one again. And we get the Z-Bat. Bats is luck. Pirate King's probably a poor choice of target. I may be a captain, but I'm not an idiot. Quick stop at Mutton Island. Uh-oh. Is there something in the air today? A restless breeze? It's probably nothing. Sleek ships are docked to the harbor. Installations of heavy artillery line the shore. The banners of the Eagle clan, yellow as honey, drape from each roof. Mutton Island has fallen. It appears that Mutton Island has been taken over by the Comet. We can gather a port report. And smuggle refugees to the Shepherd Isles. As your vessel passes, muddy islanders emerge from one of the island's coves. They leap and wave rags. Your lifeboat pulls up to the cove, unnoticed by the sentries. Came while we was asleep, they did, an islander whispers. Some of us managed to make it to the docks or else to the coves. A couple of lads held out in the Cock and Magpie long as they could. He runs a grimy hand through his hair and boards. Torches flare on the shore, illuminating thick-barreled cannons. There is a crack, and a shot lands just off your prow. Water from the impact splashes your face. You are not welcome. Oh dear. This is unfortunate for Mutton Island. No matter which way the game goes, at some point Mutton Island is going to stop being available for one reason or another. This is honestly one of the better ways it can happen. It's also possible that the entire population of the island just disappears. And since we now have a reason to go to the Shepherd Isles, let's head there. Is that that's just a regular pirate steam pinnacle. Who is apparently running away from me. Get back here. Let me kill you. We've got our cache of curiosities and prisoner's honey. Okay. Fair enough. We can sell that somewhere. Got a port report. Explore the island. Ah, Blemigans! At the heart of a salty little bog, you come across a pulsing mound of Blemigans. They are a rich dark purple, like viscera perhaps, or blackberries. They chitter as they swarm. The sound is like pebbles on a beach. Be careful. A single Blemigan is a nuisance. 100 are a calamity. Blemigans are, they're giant ambulatory mushrooms that are purple and write poetry, and also have fangs. I say we observe them. Yep. They do resemble the fruiting bodies of fungus. The mound itself looks fungal. Are they the same organism? And they communicate and cooperate. You watch as they drag a marsh rat up the side of the mound, bickering over the disposition of its flesh. And you watch as a half dozen stand on top of the mound, listening respectfully to the chittering of a seventh. It's improbably reminiscent of a poetry recital. You take notes. So we'll go ahead and head around Demo towards the Abbey, so we can visit there and make Dreamer happy. Because this time we have a video. And then up to Shepherd Isles to drop off our refugees, and then finally back to London. What is this one? That's... Oh, man. Hey, pirate poet. I see you're kind of stuck here. Sure would be a shame if I, you know, killed you again. Oh, she got herself out. Not that it matters at this point. Or nope, stuck again. Huh. Okay, so the star change event again. This time it was pigs. Hell yeah, I do. Pigs, when sailor sighs. It's always pigs. What's wrong with pigs? The bosun shakes a solemn head. Never ask about pigs at sea, he insists. It's, all right, once again, we are victorious. The pirate poet hauls herself up the rope, nodding her gratitude to the crew. Another battle well fought, Captain, she grunts. Few earn a second verse. Along with her freedom price, she presents a gift, a cask of wine saved from the sinking vessel by her own mighty arms. They say it is a fine vintage. My men were saving it to toast our victory against you. Perhaps you would join me in a drink to them? The way you advance this particular storyline is by just continuing to destroy her ship every single time you see it. Actually, speaking of things we can do at this point, I'm pretty sure we could... Yeah, hold on. Oh, tried to increase my iron a bit more, but we lost some hull. Oh my word. We need to... Sorry about that. There, that's out. Only smoke, look there. All's well that ends well, and in the end all manner of things shall be well. So we got 2 iron from that, which is very nice for 1 secret, but we also lost 10 hull in the process. So let's not do that again. Doesn't happen every time, but it happens enough. So if you're watching this in the future, Dreamo, this is where the nuns are. Nothing is All right, see you, Frog. It's been awesome. We're heading right back after this, so you're not going to miss much. After I get back to London, we will be done for this stream. So see you next time. And we've got our recent news. The muscular prioress, the abbess's lieutenant, comes to the door to listen. She nods and makes notes. She pays particular attention to news of marsh beast predations and the traffic off the rooftops. In return, she offers a rather perfunctory blessing, but the blessing reassures your crew. Like huge and deadly herons, the sisters stalk along the very tops of the walls. You watch through a spyglass as they leap and whirl, slashing at each other with a variety of frightening weapons. God, one of them just turned a somersault. Oh yeah, I forgot that refugees actually do take up space in your hold. That's fun. Anyway, we will pop up to the Shepherd Isles. Now, unfortunately, we're about to start going hungry. Oh, and our nightmare is happening. The sea is bright as milk. False stars above are black on a pitchy bed. Something is watching you. Its gaze enfolds your boat. You are transparent as glass. Turn the helm and flee across the milk-bright sea. The sea churns in your wake. You pull away from the eye until into the shallower waters of waking, but a terror clings. It seems like from the design of this game, there was gonna be more nightmares than just the eye, but as it stands, that's the only one we have. Ugh, that ship is too far away. Got our port report, and deliver refugees from Mutton Island. It may not be home, but it will do for now. The refugees timidly step from your deck. It will have to do, one says. We'll manage, another replies. One of them shakes your hand. Bless you for the good deed, Captain. May you never go hungry. It's an old Mutton Island saying. So, I'm going to say we hold off on feeding the crew for now. If things get bad enough and we don't make it back to London in time, that's actually kind of what don't go hungry in Mutton Island is essentially code for don't go cannibal. which we may end up having to do. $75. 80. Yep, it's kind of a thing. It's more complicated than just cannibalism. It involves one of the more esoteric stories of the Neath, but it does heavily involve cannibalism. Once my hunger gets to 95, we're going to show off the cannibalism option. Unless I can... Ah, shoot. Day by day, you all grow weaker. Each sip of fresh water is carefully rationed. Sailors squabble over scraps of leather. Each morning, bodies are found stiff and cold. Feast on their remains. You are past the edge of desperation. They have died. You will live. The higher-minded or less hungry crew lock themselves away. You and the less scrupulous stalk the ship's corridors, gathering the emaciated remains of your once fellows. It's not what you'd call good eating, but it'll make a sustaining stew. Well, here at Pigmote Isle again. The, Hail Marinia, the Neath's most adorable nation, scurries around your legs. Skintillac harvesters drag heavy bags of the island's bounty to their silos. Industrious rodents work hard on towering edifices, some of them almost neck-high. London will never believe a bloody word of this. So let's help them resolve a dilemma. An aide runs over. Hairless advisor, you return to us. Praise the tide. We need your wisdom once again. A guilty rodent stands, his head bowed. The aide pushes him forward. Hairless advisor, this traitor stole food from our stores. To feed a sick child, he claims. Do we show mercy or make an example of the wretch? Advocate mercy. His actions were understandable, if unfortunate. Insist an example be made of him. A new nation cannot afford to set such a precedent. No half measures. Insist the wretch be hung, drawn, quartered, and the pieces impaled on spikes as a warning to all, and his family, too. I say we advocate mercy here. The guilty rodent is released back to his family, all weaking with relief. Few claim justice has not been done, but it is not the last such theft, and with each one it becomes harder for the Meridians to tell where the line between clemency and weakness is drawn. So we did lose some civilization from there. And we can do this here, attempting to broker a union. And yeah, that's unfortunate. I was hoping we could make the union between the cavies and the rats, but it looks like it would be a bad idea to continue too far on this. Yeah, 20% chance. And we're back to being hungry after we lost one crew to death and ate his remains. We're also running low on fuel, which is very unfortunate. Hushed voices, tired faces. This isn't the time for rousing speeches, but a quiet word here and there will help. Perhaps you shouldn't have made that joke about boiled bat. Sailors take their superstitions seriously. And there goes our fuel, but I believe we're close enough that it'll still bring us home. We did get a strange catch, though. And that is actually a thing we can eat. The cook converts it to a sort of minimalist... I don't know how to pronounce that word. It's salty and peculiar, but it does something for your crew's hunger. We're close enough, yeah. We're gonna make it home. Booyah base. Okay, thank you, Zeno. %42 of our fuel remaining. And we're at the gates of London. Actually, while we're here and have a little bit of fuel left, no, it's too unsafe. We're too low. You could go down that canal and see a little bit more of stuff around London, but I prefer to do it when we actually have stuff. Okay. Whew. Alrighty. Aside from such things as delivering the Sphinx Stone, sign. Here's a receipt. Here's a discretion contract. Here's a penalty contract. Your vision is blurred by the end of it all. The cart rumbles off into the coiling fog. Here's your reward. So we got 500 echoes from the Sphinx Stone delivery, but we had to pay 200 to start it. So we actually only got 300. Still, 300 isn't bad. Anyway, I will go ahead and save the game. And that will be it for now. Thank you all so much for coming to the stream. Next stream will most likely be same time next Sunday. I will let you know on my Tumblr what the schedule is. If I483 is still here and you want to come back, my Tumblr is battlersexual@tumblr.com. I will type that out in the chat for you. Give me just a sec. And that on Sundays, I usually stream starting at around 2. So if you're interested, come check that out. Thank you for coming, everyone. It has been super awesome. If you want to watch things again, I will be saving all the videos and making highlights out of them so that they stay on Twitch forever. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great day, everyone. I am off to go eat.